you was doing your thing. Yeah, I mean, you played out here at Fordham. Is there anything that you feel that you could have done that would have excelled you more as far as your future in basketball? All right, we in Dyckman with Adrian Walton, aka A-Butta. We out here.
AKA a whole lot of game.
A whole lot. Don't forget that name.
Don't forget a whole lot of word.
A whole lot of game. Rucker Park legend.
What's good, Rucker Park Prep? You already know how I do. I'm up here, Dyckman. Right now, Dyckman is like what Rucker used to be when I was playing in it. So Dyckman got that new love, that new hype. So I'm always coming up here showing love, showing support. Plus my youngest daughter, Love Adrian Walton, lives up here. So shout out to Ken Stevens, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the whole staff and everybody out there. You already know we coming right this summer, Champagne Room. Meet me there.
All right, so Adrian, let me ask you a question. Rucker Park is no longer the #1 streetball tournament out here in New York City. Why is Dyckman that and not Rucker Park? Is it a management thing, or what do you think it is?
It just got a lot to do with errors. I think the errors done changed. I think it's an error thing that done changed everything. Shout out to Cha-Ching. Shout out to Mr. Talk Spicy. But basically, the announcers kind of like shifted everything. The announcers, you know, kind of like those guys, the new generation, they kind of like brought the attention to high school. So, you know, whoever got like the best announcers are showing love for the next generation when it come to high school, you know what I mean? It kind of like started to move towards up here at Dyckman. All of the kids, all of the top high school kids, they all want to come up here to Dyckman to play. So right now, shout out to Cha-Ching, David Till. He's the new announcer of the streets, you heard?
I see you got the TS hat. We know in the past, you know, you play with the terrorist squad. How's that relationship? You still chopping it up on that side, or? I'm
always good with Fat Joe. Fat Joe is always gonna be family with me. I just ran into Fat Joe the other day up in NYC. One of his stores on Broadway at 160th, 159th. Joe is family, man. Joe gonna always be family. He been family since day one, so you know it's only right for me to rep, you know what I mean, the terror era, because that's what we had. We had a hell of a terror era.
We already know who your cousin is.
Shout out to
Killer Cam.
It is what it is. No homo.
MA$E. They doing it big with their new show. It is what it is. Give us a little bit of how do you feel about it is what it is? Because some people say that, you know what, you got two guys that's not in the sports industry and they just jump in and throw some cameras on and they just talking about sports. You know, give us a little bit about your thoughts on that.
What they really giving you is Harlem and how we come together and talk about things just like anywhere and having a conversation. And you know what I mean? What you really getting more to see is the camaraderie, the brotherhood. I mean, more than anything, you know what I'm saying, them being journalists, you dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's more about showing that we as brothers, that we could do stuff together and that, you know what I mean, we could be powerful together. So I'ma always salute them because they were like the leaders that I looked up to growing up with. And like I said, they showed me that, you know, anything is possible, you know what I'm saying? It's all about branding yourself. It's always about making sure that you continue to, you know, remix yourself, you know what I'm saying? Keep things going, don't never stop, you know what I'm saying? And just continue to try to build and grow, you know what I mean? Learn and expand. So I'ma always salute them because to me, that's all they ever showed me as an idol, you know what I mean? As leaders from my neighborhood, my community.
What up? What's up, man? What up? 15-7. Let's go.
So, Butta, when we talk about a whole lot of game, when we talk about NYC street basketball, when we talk about going head to head with Vince Carter, when we talk about we need this guy on our squad to get that chip, let's talk about the transition, because we getting older now. You was a star basketball player. What's new? What's the transition?
My transition was, I've always been connected to basketball. I'm gonna always be connected to basketball, but I kind of like wanted to build, my own business, my own lane, in order for me to still stay connected to basketball whenever I'm doing something with basketball. So I don't want to find myself teaching somebody else's child and trying to charge the parent so that, I could get paid off of my talent you know what I mean? To me, I'd rather educate myself with a business and try to find write-offs so I could give back like was given to me, you know what I mean? So that's the whole plan right now, basically. Just doing a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes, behind closed doors with different people that I know is doing things, you know what I mean? Not just trying to make some sense, trying to really make some sense, you know what I'm saying? So I'm building with those guys. I'm coming to the table with my NBA friends. Even though I grew up with rappers, today I'm doing business with my ball playing friends, you know what I'm saying? Joakim Noah is doing some good things out in the world. Danny Green is doing some good things out in the world, you know what I mean? So I'm just connecting dots, you know what I'm saying? And trying to help the next generation. I got a podcast out, Streets First. Season 3 is getting ready to come out. Dave East is the first interview. It comes out April 3rd on YouTube, so check that out. But what I'm really doing with Season 3 is I'm pulling up on all my friends, you know what I mean? They got businesses, you know what I mean? I went down to Atlanta to check out Yandy. She's from Harlem. She grew up in Harlem. She's doing her thing with her Yale brand line, her skincare line, and got a restaurant down. She took her whole Harlem hustle and went down to ATL, and she got ATL rocking, you know what I mean? So that's all I'm really on. I'm just pulling up on my friends, and I'm highlighting the success and the things that they're doing so I can help the next generation be able to hear how, there are some other leaders that's not on mainstream that you may need to know about and hear their story that can maybe help you get over the hump. And, with me doing that, I finally have gotten sponsorship. I'm now sponsored by On Our Block. Check them out when you get a chance, onourblock.com. They are a financial streaming company, you know what I'm saying? And we're pulling up the different communities. We connected together. We pulling up in different inner city communities. We doing events. We letting the kids hear stories. We making sure we having little block parties. That's what I call them, because I grew up in the block party era where the whole show loved everybody. You ain't have to pay. You just showed up and you came and enjoyed yourself. And you enjoy yourself with hearing these stories with these social influencers. That's what they call them today, not celebrities. So I'm using the social influencers and their stories to teach dreamers how to build wealth from scratch. You know what I'm saying? I believe that we can hear stories and be inspired and motivated based on journalism. And I think journalism matters. It can destroy us, it can divide us, as you can see. That's what the world is doing with, you know what I'm saying, judging one another and being divided. But that's not what I'm using my platform for. I'm not using my lane to do that. To each his own, but like I said, I'm on a different type of time where I'm trying to unite and bring good vibes so that, you know what I mean, we stronger together, you know what I mean? United we stand, divided we fall.
So, Butta, now, you speak about the next generation, and have you seen a change? Because, and I definitely want to get your point of view on the state of basketball where it is now. When you look on the internet, you have certain guys posting old Jordan films saying, see, Jordan could have go to the left. Jordan is whack. He would have never survived the new time, and you know, like Jordan is whack, and just like just showing all of like Jordan's like moves and showing all his faults. Now, what do you think about the state of the basketball, specifically the NBA, as far as the talent level? Do you feel that the NBA players back then could have made it now, or do you feel that the NBA players now can't even compare to the NBA players back then?
Well, if you're asking me my total honest opinion, it's hard for me to answer that because I'm not really in the world of comparing. That's the bad thing. Every era has its players. Every era has its time, its moments. You get what I'm saying? So you can't really compare then to today. You actually got to learn how to adjust with the times. And that's what I'm saying. If you look at the kids today, look at them. They're talented. Anthony Edwards, Shy, they're nice. You get what I'm saying? But that's where we get wrong with media. Media makes you compare people. That's part of the job. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying, that we're so divided with comparing instead of recognizing, if you're asking me my opinion, black greatness. I don't have time to be comparing. I mean, just my opinion. I don't have time to really be comparing. You know what I'm saying? What are you really learning from now? How are you motivated or inspired? All that does is just make you feel like your opinion is right. Your view is right. You get what I'm saying? And guess what? That's of another man. That's of other people. So that's what keeps us divided. We gotta go back and forth. You lose friendships, all kind of stuff by saying I like Jordan and you like LeBron. I like Kobe. You like. Think about it. So at the end of the day, with me, that's why I said I'm on a whole different type of time right now. I'm really not into the world of comparing when I understand black greatness. And that's why I'm always showing people my hashtag, know your history. If you knew your history, we really wouldn't be comparing, you would be celebrating. That's black greatness, Jordan, Kobe. From where we came from, they always talked about Bird, bro. Do you understand how this game has evolved to where 80-90% of everything that you're talking about is black men? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, we don't even see that bigger picture now. You know what I mean? That we now run the market, and now you're starting to see the younger generation of, you know, that can really change their family, where they're getting large sums of money because things have changed now. We shouldn't be hating on, I wish I would have got paid. You can't compare your time with this time. You got to learn to adjust with the times. Why? Because these young kids is smart, bro. You gotta stop sleeping on the younger generation, man, and they're smarter than you think. You know what I'm saying? My generation, we had to remember stuff. When I went to school, we had to literally remember it. Today, these kids can push a button and get the answer, you heard? Come on, man. Respect that. Things have gotten better. I know you can try to figure it, say it's not gotten better and gotten worse. That's a mentality. You get what I'm saying? You can't think outside the box. You gotta really see that. And that's why it's hard for the younger generation to hold so much respect for the older generation. Because the older generation start to tell them, yo, you gotta listen to me, and I've been there and I've been through it. Shorty saying, if that ain't help you, why am I listening to you? So at the end of the day, you can't knock him for saying that, because you think you could teach somebody something that you didn't even use for yourself. So we need to do less preaching and motivating and do more inspiring and leading. By what? Example, man. I ain't got time to talk to kids, man. I'm showing you what I'm doing.
No doubt. So when we talk about street ball, even back like in the 60s, 70s, when Julius Irvin was at Rucker, and like you get into the 90s when we talking about like street ballers was popping at one point. I mean, I'm not really hearing too much about street ball players, but what I am hearing about is these basketball players that are posting on social media, and
so that tell you something. It's entertainment. You get what I'm saying? It's not really about kids really going and putting in the work and basketball now, when you Google all of these things, NBA and all of that stuff is under entertainment. It's not under sports. So it has changed, it has evolved. So that's why you can't even get mad that's like me saying, yo, if the NIL was around, nigga, I'd have been getting paid. But no, I grew up in the blue chips era, so you still was getting paid. Stop. You see what I'm trying to say? We can't always try to put ourselves in their shoes. Why not just congratulate it? You get what I'm trying to say? Why not celebrate it? You know what I mean? Get with it. Try to see how you can help build with your wisdom on top of them, which still have to make mistakes. So I bring that up to say to you that, you know, you're not gonna really see Streetball on that level, because it's all the things that's gonna be coming around it that's gonna make Streetball what it is, which is the entertainment. And that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I'm speaking so highly of doing things behind closed doors, because it's like, if you could tap into the world of making things available for the communities and for the people through basketball, people still gonna wanna come out and support. You get what I'm trying to say? It being that it's not about the talent, which it was before, to be inspired off of. Maybe it could be, you know, I can get a bank account, or, you know, I could get you know, some advice on how to start getting a loan or how to get credit. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe someone can bring those type of, you know, ties to the community and be those resources and be able to help us from the inner city, from poverty, like I said, be able to have opportunities. That's what I'm saying that it's all about when you look at what that basketball could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, Streetball not gonna die. It's just a matter of us making sure that we keep it alive, but knowing that it's going to change. Meaning, as you can see, Nike and Jordan brand, they like the biggest brands that can hold like these tournaments down throughout the summer. We got rappers that's making millions. We got NBA players that's from New York that's making millions. But if we, like I said, educate ourselves, put our businesses and things together, you know what I mean? It's a lot of NBA players that I know from New York that needs the right money off from all of the taxes that's being taken from them. You get what I'm saying? So all you gotta do is bring good proposals and good ideas, and guys will get behind it, they'll support it, you know what I mean? And you putting them in good situations as well. So, you know, like I said, these are the things that I'm saying can keep Streetball alive, keep tournaments alive. Why? Because it's always been about the people. No disrespect, man, to the tournament owners, to anybody that's always looking for their credit. I thought you did it for the people. I thought you did it for the kids. See, that's another thing I've been learning about the older generation. All of a sudden today, they looking for this credit now that social media can make you look hot. But I thought you did it for the people. You know what I mean? I thought you were doing it so that kids could be able to say that they got a story now. But as you can see, everybody want their story told today. That's why you gotta be careful, because alternative facts is winning. You know what I mean? Misinformation is the new information. Until you educate yourself, until you do your homework. And once you start educating yourself and you're doing your homework, can't nobody misinform you. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody tell you that a fact is not a fact just because they have a right to their own opinion. A fact is still a fact.
Yeah.
But we'll have another discussion about that.
Yeah. So, like, when you look at how you grew up and you was doing your thing, you know what I mean? You played out at Fordham. Is there anything that you feel that you could have done that would have excelled you more as far as your future in basketball?
I could have made a better decision of not thinking about money. And it's hard because you grow up in poverty. And if you never had, that's one of the first things, sorry to say, as I grew older, I knew that it was kind of like wrong to only do things for money. But if you're not taught that, and you taught that money is something that you have to have or get in order to survive or in order to live away, like I said, the journey is always gonna teach you about integrity and how. So one thing that I could say, if it was something that I would change, I would have watched how I went about doing things only if I got paid. It was so many opportunities that I missed out on because, you know what I'm saying, the opportunity could have been way bigger than what I could have got paid or got. That was just my mindset. And that's no disrespect to the rappers or people that I grew up around, but that was their perspective. You see what I'm saying? As a ball player, you thinking family. As a rapper, you thinking about yourself. So I don't regret that neither. It is what it is. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It taught me a lot of other stuff as well that kept me, you know what I'm saying, comfortable and safe in the streets throughout New York City, just in different communities. But like I said, the one real main thing that I can honestly say that I learned about when it comes to just mistakes, we all gonna make them. No one's human. Everyone's human. You're gonna make mistakes, but it's really just learning from it. And like I said, I learned to not sell my soul. There are things that I do for now for free, just to, you know what I mean, show people that, you know what I mean, it's about the opportunity. And you never know, you know what I mean? And now I really see that matters, you know what I mean? Before it was like, I'm not going to this game, I'm not going to do it with this. These people not paying, or this is, so that whole perspective, it made you think that, you know, I can't do things unless it was for the money. And sometimes if it's only about the money, as we all know, man, all green ain't good green. All money ain't good money. So it all, when I say that, it changes your character. When you take the wrong money, you be around the wrong shit for the wrong money. You know what I mean? Just a lot of things that stunt your growth. You get what I'm saying? So like I said, if there's anything that I can regret, I regret cheating myself by stunting my own growth, by not making better choices, better decisions. But like I said, I understand now that that's all part of the journey. When you know that if you are able to change those things, where you could go and where you could become. So I'm proud of myself for doing that. You know what I mean?
Now, with that being said, you know, now we living in a different time where social media is like everything. If you could give advice to a kid that was the 16, 17-year-old Adrian Walton now, and, you know, people are looking at them, you know, they're getting looks, you know, they probably play for their high school team. What advice would you give that person on how to pursue their career in basketball?
So being that you told me that social media is kind of like where it's at, the best advice that I could give to a kid is that I hope you understand that more eyes is on you. People can see you even when you thought you're not being seen. So knowing that there's always a camera around, my best advice to the next generation is to know that you're always being watched. Character matters, you know what I'm saying? If it's one thing that always stunted a lot of New York City players, it was our character, it was never our talent. Our talent was always good, but our character was shaped based off of where we grew up at. And a lot of us, until we got a little bit older, we blamed a lot on our environment, not realizing that we are a product of our choices. So, you know what I'm saying? The best advice that I can help the young generation with starting off early is don't be a product of your environment. You know what I mean? You're a product of your choices. You know what I mean? Don't have the poverty mindset. You know what I'm saying? Always keep dreaming, always keep hoping, always keep believing. You know what I'm saying? Because God hears all prayers. You know what I'm saying? And more than anything, He knows your heart. And a lot of us, you know, we watch what other people have, not realizing that God gave all of us a uniqueness to where there's going to be a time for all of us to be able to embrace whatever that uniqueness is. So sometimes you got to wait your turn. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but even as you young guys, it's just like the girls, man. Realize the coochie is never yours. It's just your turn.
All right, so we good. All right, so before we get out of here, you have anything else you want to say?
Shout out the Rucker Park Prep. Shout out the EBC. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Greg Marius, always. Shout out to all the tournaments in New York City. You know what I mean? Keep doing y'all thing and trying to help the next generation have safe spaces to be able to grow. You know what I mean? Shout out to myself for starting Streets First podcast, because whether I leave or not, you know what I mean, the kids, the next generation is always gonna be able to hear some good word that's gonna help them grow. And that's what we all need sometimes, some good word. There's enough negativity out here, so we need more good words. So shout out to my daughters, all three of them, Brianna, Adriana, and Love. And Keep God first, man. That's first, foremost, and last, if anything, man. Keep God first, man. Get right with God and watch God get you right.